Wave 91.7 FM, your everything on PlayStation. My name is ADEKUNLE ADEJUMO, and well, it looks like the storm is gradually fading away. Good to have something close to my voice back. Yes, absolutely. We get started this morning with some reflections, and do remember that the reflections are not up for conversation. And the very first on my mind this morning is to the parents. If you are a parent in Nigeria, or more particularly in River State, and you have your children as undergraduates, some of them as postgraduate students in some of the institutions across this country, please do well to check on them. Please do well to sit with them and ask them, how is your mental health? The reason is very simple. So I did a pure contrast. Remember a young man that I had worked with some time ago, and he relocated to somewhere in the U.S. Just acquired his PhD, and the time frame for achieving that and how seamless it was quite amazing. And one of the things he told me was that his supervisor had to work with him every step along the way. But in Nigeria, in some of our institutions in River State, if not all of them, some supervisors and lecturers, they are just out to terminate your children. That is why a lot of undergraduates, when they come out of school, sometimes their frequency tends to go out of line. Check on them. And there's a lot of corruption in the educational system, making it somewhat difficult for people who would want to stand for the truth. That's why sometimes when I listen to the likes of Chitam Therinwala, I get, somewhat disturbed at the level of things that happens in our society, and even in River State. I cannot tell you the truckload of complaints that I get to accommodate on a daily basis coming from schools in River State, higher institutions where the supervisors will make themselves lord over these innocent undergraduate and postgraduate students and would have to make them pay through their nose. It's an unfortunate situation. And if you're one of those individuals that is perpetrating that act this morning, listen, your Bible would not save you. Your Quran would not be the easy escape. But just find a way to pursue after but come on. Okay, let's have one of the case. Do you know that in this River State, in some of the schools, supervisors get to ask students to pay a certain fee to get to supervise their thesis? That is absolutely wrong. You get your salary and that should be enough. And so please do well to check up on your kids before these supervisors drive them into rehabilitation homes. It's very important to do so, because if you don't have the right mental capacity, you may never survive Nigeria. And I pray Nigeria does not happen to you. That's one on the reflection. Let's also remember the fact that there's a need for us to reintroduce our monthly environmental sanitation in River State. Governor Siminalaye Fubara, there's so much work to be done. Let's stay awake to responsibilities, see how we can remodel after Lagos State that seems to be taking the lead in that direction upon the reintroduction of the monthly environmental sanitation. Of course, we can look at how to vary the time so that it doesn't lead to some clash, but River State needs a lot of cleaning. Across states in Nigeria yesterday, the police engaged in street sweeping and cleaning. I saw some videos and photographs from areas around Rumokoro. That's just a one-day exercise, but because we do not have the consciousness to actually stay clean, even as we speak, somebody somewhere is perpetuating the act of loitering the streets with waste materials that you don't expect them to have in the first place. We do not have that culture. So until we get closer to such direction, we should continue to propagate the message of monthly environmental sanitation. And let's look into employment of our youth, because everybody cannot become agbero. Everybody cannot hold a truncheon to strike vehicles, just like you had most vehicles around Port Harcourt today prohibited by, what do they call them again? The agbero boys. We need to rehabilitate those people, reposition them, and teach them on the right way to actually get things done. Let's see what else on the reflection. That would just be about it. That would be about it. And maybe for a very long time to come, I would be placing a lot of emphasis surrounding some matters in Rivers State and the schools, probably giving you some tips. And trust me, we're ready to step on toes. My name is ADEKUNLE ADEJUMO. Let's get into the conversation on Real Talk this morning.